Good evening, everyone. As I pour my beer, let's just start calling this the beer cast. Let's see. Let's get a little better shot of that. About as good as it gets. That's tasty. That is. Let's see. We got that good shot of that there. Oh well. I'll show you later. Anyways, welcome to another session of the Optimistic M. I'm your host, Michelle. How's everyone doing tonight? So, as I'm sure everyone has heard or seen, the election results are up. Not entirely final, because there's a lot of votes that still have to be counted. But as for now, we know that the winner is Trump. How do I feel about that? Well, before I get to that point, I will just say this, and so far, my Facebook feed is filled with despair, complaints, fear, you name it. Man, there's a few people that actually welcome it, which is fine. If you voted for Trump, congratulations. What comes next? And I'd like to elaborate on this a little bit. So I'm not going to take too long, but my opinion is, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'd probably be disappointed either way, either Hillary or Trump for that matter. I'd be disappointed because we perhaps as some state that we have not learned from history. And if we haven't learned from history, then we're bound to repeat it. For the most part, I'm calm. I'm content. I voted my conscience. And I'm at peace. Tomorrow, for me, will be just another day. While I say this, we do have a guy that's going to be going to the White House come January. At least so far. That is a bit of a wild card. His own party doesn't like him, so that might be a good sign. I don't know. I honestly do not know. And I don't know what to tell all my friends that actually live abroad, that are international. I don't know what to tell them. All I can say is, I voted what I felt was right. And that's just me. I did my part. And that's all I can do. That's all any of us can really do. Now, if you voted your conscience, that's fine. You did your duty. You did what you thought was right. So congrats on that. Bravo. Ooh, we have one watcher. I can't see any comments, but I will get to them after the video. For those who voted in fear, I just hope, for your sake, you made the right choice. But as I will tell all my friends and family, we shall see. The only thing we can do now, because there isn't much you can do, besides do your part, is write it out. He might do something good, I don't know. Guess we'll see. But We won't know until January, when it does start. What comes next? For me, I mean, it's not going to really affect me much, I don't think. I think it will affect relationships abroad, and that can come down to affect us all in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure. So we have to think about the gravity of our decisions, and once we come to a consensus as to the gravity of our choices, I think perhaps one day that, we gotten to a point where we've learned our lessons or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I don't really know, but it is a bit disappointing, to be honest. It's especially because there are better candidates out there. And I think this is like the last time Gary Johnson is actually going to run. Even so, I think he actually accomplished his goal of 5%, which is what he needed to gain the financial backing for the next time a libertarian candidate does run. But at that time, it's going to be somebody totally different. And we all know, I mean, people that know Gary Johnson knows Gary Johnson. Just like Ron Paul, I mean, he ran for years and he got a great following, but nobody really knew about him. Because in this country, if you have a lot of money, then you can put your name out there. Which I think is the sad part. I mean, Joe Schmo has no chance of actually gaining any. I take that back, because, I mean, even Bernie Sanders, he got quite a following. Even, it was a bit late in the game, but he got quite a following. And I think if he had a little bit more traction before the primaries, he would have got it, And, I totally didn't agree with everything, but I believe he'd be the best candidate out of the three if that were the only choices available. Just saying. But if anything, I think the Hillary campaign kind of just, shot themselves in the foot, because even before the primaries were over, Bernie had a slight edge in popularity over Hillary. I mean, people knew Hillary's loyalties. Not even just the email thing. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just recent. I mean, everything else that she's done in the past, people have forgot about. Somehow there's some sort of an amnesia of the past 20 years of her, being in politics. I mean, yeah, she does know politics. We know where her loyalties lie. We know exactly what she's about. Trump, we have no idea what this guy is about. And most people will say that. It's that's why I say he's such a wild card. We don't know. I mean, then the only thing we can do is just wait and see. I know. Like I said before, the only edge he does have is the fact that his own party doesn't really like him. So, at the end of the day, though, I mean, we gotta live our lives. I mean, we can't be scared to live life. I mean, yeah, stuff's gonna happen, I'm sure. I'm sure some way, shape, or form, this election's gonna affect all of our lives. And I hope for the best. I really hope for the best. That's the only thing I can really hope for. And of course, we all do our own part in this, and kind of work together. I mean, humankind. Yeah, I had a friend on. She messaged me on Hangout. She's like, "Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's like the whole world kind of depends on our election, because I mean, it truly can in a way. It does matter who's in the White House. It does matter, and I don't know if everyone understands that or not. Let me take another sip here. But anybody that's progressive, wants to move forward, I think would not have voted for Trump. But I guess we'll see. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? I really want to know. I mean, I know from my Facebook feed what people are thinking right now. It's like, what is everyone else thinking? That's my whole thing. One side says, it's a Christian vote or whatever. I'm like, I don't really see any Christianity in this guy. I don't know. Even if he says he is, I mean, if any politician for that matter that says they're one thing but does another, I mean, I went to church for many years, and one thing I learned in the Bible was that you judge a person by the fruits of by their fruits, their characteristics, what their actions are, not what they say, because what they say could be one thing totally different. And that's for anybody. That's not just Trump. That's anybody. Hillary, for example, she's not exempt from the rule. I mean, look at her fruits. Look at anybody. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we really have to think outside the box. Yeah, election's over. I'm kind of glad in a way because I can stop hearing about it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to still hear about it or see it on Facebook for at least the next few days up until January, until Trump's actually swarmed in. And then what next? What comes next, my friends? Family. Live your life. You can't live in fear. That's all I can really say. I don't plan on living in fear. I'm pretty calm about my decision. And if you're not calm about your decision, then I would evaluate, and perhaps you'll make a better choice next time. That's what I would say. That's what I am saying. I think that's about it. Please leave your comments below. As I said, I can't see any comments now because I'm using a program, an app on here. It's not a direct live YouTube. Although YouTube does have a beta version of live for the smartphone, but it's only for certain people right now. But I do want to thank everyone for coming on here and tuning in, of course, and listening to what I have to say. And perhaps you may, sympathize with my thoughts. You may not. I mean, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not going to hate anybody that's voted one way or another. I mean, I've heard people, unfriend people because of their thoughts, their beliefs and like that. And yeah, you could probably make a case for unfriending a person depending on what their beliefs are, what their thoughts are. Like if, for example, your friend's a racist, for example. I mean, I think, and it's really a case-by-case basis. It's not a across-the-board thing. Everyone is different. Every person has a slightly different belief. That's why so many different denominations for Christianity or even Islam, for example. There's so many different thoughts out there. I mean, you can't count them all because everyone's different. We're all human. I may think a certain way without something, and you may totally disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't really mind that. I like having the debate. I like chatting. But it will not change my thoughts about this election. This whole thing was like a circus, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. It's one guy's opinion over another. You may think it's the best thing since sliced bread. That's an old phrase, but believe me, sliced bread back in the day was like freaking awesome. Anyways, I digress. I want to thank you for coming, though. I don't want to keep this too long. I am going to finish my beer, though, and you don't have to sit and watch that, but tell me what your thoughts are, and I'll get back to you. Anyways, thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. And friends and family that live abroad, please, it's not the end of the world yet. So I understand. I really do sympathize. I really do. And I don't want to say, I don't want to insult, a bunch of people, but I would like to say this, though. As I stated before, if you voted your conscience, kudos, congrats. That's how it should be. If you voted in fear, well, that's between you and whatever you believe, because this could have dire consequences. But as I stated before, you gotta live your life. Anyways, that's it for now. I will see you in the next cast, and definitely text your comments below and tell me what you think about the election. I'd really like to hear, and I'll get back to you. Thank you. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see and hear, and please share if you think somebody else will benefit from this. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Cheers.